you will see the instrument coming out in the presence of soybean oil. So when the curvature greater than 30 degrees, use soybean oil. Activate ultrasonics in the presence of soybean oil. But when you make a removal attempt, be careful of the space between the outer wall and your ultrasonic tape. If this space is smaller than the broken instrument, the broken instrument will not come out. It will keep hitting the space, the ultrasonic tape or the outer wall. It will not come through the space. So this space must be larger than the broken instrument. And another tip that you have to use when you make a removal attempt, never approach the broken instrument. If you press the broken instrument with your ultrasonic tape, the instrument will not come out. Keep some distance between the broken instrument and the canal wall. So you have to stay away from the broken instrument when activating ultrasonics in removal attempts. Never do like this. And in addition to that, you must have enough water or fluid, not just in the root canal, but also in the pulp chamber here. If you have fluid only inside the root canal, you will not see it coming out of the root canal. You will see it only dancing inside the root canal. It keeps fluctuating inside the root canal unless you have water up to the pulp chamber. So let me quickly show you why this is true. So this is a dancing instrument. As you can see, it's dancing. Then I'm going to press the tip into the space. Then I will activate ultrasonics. I have enough water. The instrument immediately came out. However, if you have water only in the root canal, it will be different. So make sure the instrument is dancing. As you can see, the instrument is dancing. Then I put water only in the root canal, not up to the top. Then I will do the same. I'm activating ultrasonics like this, but it didn't come out immediately. Now I keep activating ultrasonics. It's still there. It's still in the root canal. So you must have enough fluid up to the top. So you must have fluid from the root canal to the cable surface. And this is something you can do before you make a removal attempt. Because the broken instrument is already dancing, you can try blowing air into the root canal. If you are lucky, you can get the instrument out. I always dry the canal with strobe. So it's very easy to dry the canal, and if you are lucky, you will see it coming out. Like this. I'm going to blow air, then it came out, like this. So you can try many things before you make a removal attempt. And you have to be ready for this. When you make a removal attempt, increase the power setting about 20% more than what you use in preparation. Because according to this study, the depth of ultrasonic activated fluid increases with increasing power setting to remove denting or debris or maybe including the broken instrument. If the broken instrument removal procedure exceeds 45 minutes, the success rate will drop because you are more tired than you think you are. You will start thinking, I don't think I can remove this instrument. You start thinking, maybe I should do the surgery, something bad. You will start thinking about the instrument failure, instrument retrieval failure after 45 minutes. So this is a very typical case. So what is the first step in preparing the canal? Enlarging the canal, right? Use a brushing motion against the outer wall. But before you enlarge the canal in a funnel shape, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? What is the first thing you have to do to be successful in broken file removal? Anybody? Nobody. Okay. Maybe you are sleepy after the lunch. So you have to make a diagnosis followed by the treatment plan. So I measure the instrument 2.1 millimeters. So instrument is less than 3 millimeters, meaning the curvature doesn't matter. It will come out immediately after the preparation. So enlarge the canal, this is GG number 2. Because I wanted to be minimally invasive. So instead of using number 3 GG bar, I'm using number 2 GG bar. And I'm brushing against the outer wall to create the funnel shape. I can trace the canal walls to the broken instrument under the microscope. So that means I have the funnel shape. Then I always remove debris, use ultrasonics in the presence of EDTA, like this. This is how I remove debris from the root canal. Then I use sodium hypochlorite followed by hydrogen peroxide, because you can create bubbles to remove debris with hydrogen peroxide. And dry the canal with Strobco. I don't use paper points to dry the canal. Then I will use a katana tape. Always face the flat surface to the broken instrument. So I use the flat surface of the katana tape. Use up and down pecking motion and pulsing motion at the same time to prevent the breakage. So here, this is the inner wall, this is the outer wall. So I was brushing against the outer wall with number 2 GG bar. Now I'm going to extend the space to 180 degrees with the TFRKS. Remember, the instrument is less than 3 millimeters. So the preparation time should be shorter. Now I saw the instrument dancing already. So I didn't have to go to the 180 degree semicircular space. I only expanded from 90 degrees to maybe 100 degrees. Then I saw the instrument dancing. Now it's time to make a removal attempt. This is EDTA. I will go back into the space with my ultrasonic tip, TFRKS, activate ultrasonics, the instrument immediately came out. So it all took me less than 3 minutes. Look, less than 3 minutes. Okay, and this is post-op, MTA here, and this is a 3 months post-op. No, sorry. This is a 3 months post-op showing nice periodical healing. When the broken instrument is longer than 4.5 millimeters, or if you didn't see it coming out with ultrasonics less than 10 seconds, you need to use something different from ultrasonics, like the loop or the XP and the shaper, or sometimes HyFlex EDM. So this is the loop. Now the loop is replaceable. If the loop is broken, you don't have to buy the whole loop. You can just replace the loop. There are two kinds of loop. One is big, large, 0.12 millimeters in diameter. The other one is small, 0.08 millimeter in diameter. So if you want to be minimally invasive, I suggest you use small size wire loop. So this is how you replace the broken loop with a new one. First, detach the head. If it's broken, detach the head by unscrewing the head counterclockwise, like this. You can take it out very easily. I'm rotating the head counterclockwise. Then remove the cover and remove the broken wire and put a new one in the space like this, and put the cover back. Then place the head back in the same place and tighten it. That's it. It all takes 40 seconds. Very easy, right? So before you use the loop, there are two things that you have to do. First, adjust the loop size using the Endodontic Explorer like DG16 or maybe the Micro Explorer that you find in the kit, and bend it to 45 degrees to facilitate the placement of the loop. So, like this here, you put your DG16 or the Explorer into the loop, adjust the loop size to the broken instrument, and bend it to 45 degrees, like this. The reason why you have to bend it to 45 degrees is this. If you bend it to 90 degrees, which will take more room than when it's bent to 45 degrees. So that's why you need to bend it to 45 degrees. And it will be back to the 90 degrees on the broken instrument. Then it's simple, because the broken instrument is already dancing. All you have to do is just take it out. So place the loop over the broken instrument, tighten it, and take it out. If you ever feel resistance, don't force it out. Just try several directions, like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or maybe 12 o'clock. So don't force it out. Just try several directions, like this. Just take it easy. It will come out. However, if you see the broken instrument leaning against the outer wall, where you cannot place the loop over the broken instrument, because there is no space between the outer wall and the broken instrument. In this kind of case, you cannot use the loop. What do you have to do? What you have to do is to use the XP Endo shaper, rotating clockwise next to the broken instrument, because you have already space created on the inner wall. So if you spin the XP Endo shaper clockwise, which will make the broken instrument rotate counterclockwise, right? If the broken instrument is rotating counterclockwise, what will happen next? What will happen next is you see the instrument climbing up the wall and come out, right? Because it's rotating counterclockwise. It will go in a coronal direction. It will go up in a coronal direction. This is how you remove the broken instrument. When the broken instrument is leaning against the outer wall. And this study shows if you use the XP Endo shaper, it should be rotated at higher speed, like a 3,000 RPM, to prevent deformation of the instrument and fracture of the instrument. Because the taper of the XP and the shaper is only 1%. That's why if you slow down the speed, the instrument will be susceptible to torsional fatigue. It's good for the cyclic fatigue, but it's not good for the torsional fatigue if you slow down. So that's why I recommend you use the AI motor, providing higher speed, like a 2,500 RPM. And you can see many functions. So if you buy this one, I'm sorry, I'm biased. If you buy this end motor, AI motor, you can use any files, like a Reciproc or Wavevanguard, or any file, any reciprocating motions, or even the rotational file clockwise. Because you can manually set up the speed that you like. So this is the T mode. T mode has two modes. You can set up the initial mode followed by the second mode, just clicking the switch here. All you have to do is just click it. Then you will use the second mode. And the larger the instrument, the lower the cyclic fatigue, the resistance. So this means if you are using small size rotary files, like a 25 or 30, less than 30, around the curvature less than 30 degrees. If you use higher speed, like a 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, you can decrease the torsional fatigue. But if you use it with a larger file around the curve more than 30 degrees, you will increase the cyclic fatigue. So it depends on the size of the instrument that you are using. So if you are using small size file, increase the speed around the curve. If you are using big size instrument around the curve more than 30 degrees, you need to slow down. This is how you make a judgment which speed you should use. So here, this is how you, let me skip this one, because I have already explained to you. So this is one of the cases where I use the XP and shaper to remove the broken instruments. So first of all, you have to make a treatment plan based on the finding from the CBCT. I measure the length of the broken instrument. It was 5.31 millimeters. Okay? And the curvature 35 degrees. So what does this tell me? What this tells me is now I need to use the loop or something else rather than ultrasonics, because the instrument is longer than 4.5 millimeters, curvature more than 30 degrees. And if you see the broken instrument leaning against the outer wall, I have no choice but to use the XP and shaper. So let me show you how I removed this instrument. So there are two instruments, two broken instruments. First of all, I wanted to be minimally invasive. So I want the tip to be smaller. I sharpen it, then I'm using very small size ultrasonic tape. I drop a silicone oil. All you need is just a drop of silicone oil to facilitate loosening the broken instrument, but maintain the visibility of the broken instrument. If you don't see it, nothing is predictable. So I use up and down motion, pegging and pulsing at the same time on the inner wall. There was a big perforation on the outer wall, so I try not to make it bigger. So I I go down along the inner wall, so I don't touch the perforation. I always go down along the inner wall. So I don't have to touch the outer wall. As I told you, there's nothing good about touching the outer wall. So I'm still pecking and pulsing. Then you will see the instrument dancing very soon. I'm almost there. You hear the sound. What I'm doing here is I'm pulsing and pecking at the same time. When you go into the space, activate ultrasonics. When you leave the space, deactivate ultrasonics, which makes pulsing. Now you saw the instrument dancing. I saw the instrument going from the original place to another place. That's considered dancing. If you see the probe instrument going from the original place to another place and coming back to the original place, that's flexing. You are not completed with the preparation. You haven't finished the preparation yet. But I saw it going from the original place to another place. I irrigate the canal, EDTA, then I'm going to take it into the space I created. This is the experience of shaper rotating at higher speed. Up and down, then you see the instrument came up. This is how you remove the broke instrument. So you see the big perforation here on the outer wall. So that's why I did not want to touch the outer wall. So in order to prevent myself from touching the outer wall, you just have to go down on the inner wall. So you go down like this. And this is a post-op MTA fittings as well as the perforation site. However, when there is no space on the inner wall because of the perforation or whatever reason you have, in that case, you cannot use ultrasonics. You need to use rotary file. And when the curvature, especially curvature is more than 30 degrees, if the curvature is 30 degrees, it's okay. But if the curvature is more than 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 45 degrees, the more curvature, the more breakage with the XP endo shaper. So you cannot use the XP endo shaper when the curvature is more than 30 degrees. So in that case, I will use high flex EDM or multi-synthetic phase nickel titanium instrument. Because if you don't use ultrasonics on the outer wall, you will not end up pushing the probe instrument into an apical direction. So if you have no choice but to touch the outer wall, you need to use the rotary file. As long as you are using the rotary file, you will not end up pushing the probe instrument in an apical direction. So you create a space around the file or on the outer wall. It's okay. Somebody is calling. Wow, what's going on? My wife is calling me. And as you can see here, it's so, let me put it up. So here, you need to create a space around the probe instrument. You need to use small size rotary file around the probe instrument. Then you need another file bigger than the first one. Then you need a file to remove the probe instrument. So I will explain to you with this case. So here you see the probe instrument here and here. So I will use 1503 to create a space around the probe instrument. I didn't use ultrasonics. Then I used 25 high flex EDM to remove the probe instrument. So this is how you should use the file, rotary file. if you have space on the outer wall. So I'm using 1503 rotary file in the presence of oil. You need oil because the instrument is rotating at higher speed. Okay. So this is non-orthosonic technique. Now I'm here, I'm creating a space around the file, mainly on the outer wall. You see the space here and here. I completely bypass the broken instrument. Then I will use the file. I use the file to remove the broken instrument. I'm spinning the instrument, the rotary file clockwise to make the broken instrument rotate counterclockwise. Now the broken instrument is rotating counterclockwise. That's why it's coming out in a coronal direction. So this is how you remove the broken instrument with only rotary file rotating clockwise. You need to use this technique when the curvature is more than 30 degrees or the space you created is on the outer wall, not on the inner wall, or where you cannot use orthosonics. So in this case, I remove the broken instrument using the high flex EDM here. So let me quickly show you because I don't have lots of time. What time is this? It's 2 o'clock. So I should take a break around 3 maybe. So I'm using the rotary file. Up and down, up and down. I'm creating a space around the file. And this is high flex EDM 25. Up and down. It feels loose. That means the instrument is already dancing. So if you irrigate the canal, it's already out. This is how you remove the broken instrument when there is no space on the inner wall. And this is the post-op. You see how much dentin was lost. You can stay minimally invasive. So this is how you select the technique for broken file removal. When the broken instrument is less than 3.1 millimeters, visible or non-visible, you can just use orthosonics. When the broken instrument is between 3.1 and 4.5 millimeters, and the curvature less than 30 degrees, you can use orthosonics with EDTA. However, when the broken instrument is between 3.1 and 4.5 millimeters, and the curvature more than 30 degrees, you need orthosonics with oil, or you can use the loop, or you can use the rotary file. When the broken instrument is between 4.5 and 5.7 millimeters, visible or non-visible, you can still use orthosonics in the presence of oil, soybean oil, or you can try non-orthosonic technique, like a rotary file. But when the broken instrument is longer than 5.7 millimeters, you have no choice. If it's visible, you can use a loop or rotary file. If it's non-visible, you can just use the rotary file. This is how you decide the technique that you need to remove the instrument. So now I want to move on to the management of the left canals. So first of all, how does the ledge form during instrumentation? This is very similar to instrument fracture. So if you use cyclic fatigue or torsional fatigue, then you will end up forming the ledge. If you don't do the funnel shape, in other words, if you don't do the pre-coronal flaring, you will end up creating a ledge. If you don't use an up and down motion, up and down, then it's okay. But if you do not use an up and down motion, you will end up creating a ledge. If you use big size rotary file and at higher speed, you will most likely create a ledge on the outer wall. So characteristics of ledge formation. You will find the original canal always on the exactly the opposite side of the ledge. Because this is the original canal, the ledge usually falls in a straight line. So this is the curvature. If you find the ledge, you will find the original canal on the opposite side of the ledge across the curvature, the midline of the curvature, like this. So find the midline of the curvature, and you will see the original canal opening on exactly opposite side, beyond the midline of the curvature. So entrance to the original canal is always on the opposite side. You will see it. If you have CBCT, it's easy for you to locate the original canal. For example, here, you see the black line, this one black line, this is the original canal, and this is the red, and this is the midpoint. Always you will find the entrance to the original canal on the other side of the ledge. So how do you prevent ledge formation? Because prevention is more important than bypassing the ledge. So you need to do the pre-coronal flaring. Again, it's like a broken file removal. What is the first step in preparation? In preparation, you need to enlarge the canal in a funnel shape. This is the same. You need to do the pre-coronal flaring. If you have the flare in a funnel shape, then the curvature will be reduced. You can go around the curve to reach the vaulting length without creating a ledge. But if you didn't do this, you will most likely end up creating a ledge on the outer wall, like this. So if the ledge occurs, it's not too late to get into the original canal. You can still do something to get into the original canal. First, you have to do the pre-coronal flaring, like this, then open up the original canal. This one, here. The coronal flaring, then enlarge the entrance to the original canal. This is how you bypass the ledge. So every day I see some ledges. So it's my everyday job to bypass the ledge. So according to this study, reciprocating motion of nickel titanium instrument significantly reduced the cyclic fatigue when compared with the rotary motion. So it's better to use the reciprocating motion when you have severe curvature or ledge. In addition to that, rotary instrumentation induces higher number of dentinal microcracks compared with reciprocating and adaptive instrumentation. Because you don't want to destroy the tooth. You don't want to predispose the tooth to fracture. So that's why I always use the reciprocating motion. Even the rotary instrument is designed to rotate clockwise. When you switch from the rotary instrumentation to reciprocating instrumentation, you will see a decrease in instrument fracture and ledge formation. Here, ledge formation. So you need to use reciprocating motion to prevent ledge formation or to bypass the ledge. Cyclic fatigue resistance of nickel titanium instrument in the martensitic phase was higher than that of those in the austenitic phase, performing a reciprocating motion. So you need to use both reciprocating motion and martensitic phase nickel titanium instrument. So this study shows Wave-1 Gold, which is a martensitic nickel titanium instrument, and HyFlex EDM instruments were found to cause lower level of ledge formation than reciproc instrument, which is an austenitic instrument designed to reciprocate, like a wave-1. So that's why I want to use martensitic nickel titanium instrument to bypass the ledge or to prevent the ledge formation. Also, the tip design is very, very important. Actually, the tip design has very influential effect in ledge formation. There are three kinds of tip design. One is pyramid, the second one is conical, the third one is biconical. So the pyramid, the instrument with the pyramid tip is the most aggressive. The instrument with the biconical tip is the least aggressive. So I want to use the instrument with the biconical tip so I can prevent the ledge formation. Or when I bypass the ledge, I want to use it. So if you are not careful, you can easily create a ledge. Let me show you an example. This is TF, twisted file. And this is the big one. If you use big size instrument around the car, I'm rotating the file. TF has conical tip, not biconical tip. Now you see a sign of the ledge. You see the little deflections here. Now the ledge is getting bigger and bigger. I cannot go beyond the ledge. The more I use the file, the bigger the ledge becomes. Now I cannot go beyond it. This is how the ledge forms. However, if you use reciprocating motion instead of rotational instrumentation, like this, I'm using reciprocating motion with using the same file that I used in the previous video to create a ledge. I'm using exactly the same rotary file, TF. But look, I didn't create a ledge around the car. Look at the outer wall. Now I'm passing the curvature point, the greatest curvature point, which is here. I'm already beyond the curvature. I irrigate the canal. Then I'm still using reciprocating motion. Then I will reach the working length. Look, I have reached the working length without creating a ledge. So if you use the reciprocating motion, you can prevent the ledge formation. But if you use the instrument with a biconical tip, like this one, ProTaper Next or Vortex Screw, they have biconical tips. What will happen if you continue using the rotary motion with the instrument with a biconical tip? So let me show you what will happen. Oh, sorry, not this one, this one. This is ProTaper Next. I'm rotating the instrument around the curve. I don't see the ledge forming. then you see the instrument fracture around the car. So this will happen. You will not create a ledge as long as you use the instrument with a biconical tip, but you will fracture the instrument around the car. How do you prevent the instrument fracture? Use the reciprocating motion. If you use the reciprocating motion, then you have to use, so this is a reciprocating motion. Look, this is reciprocating. I'm using the same rotary file, but I have so you see that instrument is reciprocating. I didn't fracture the instrument around the curve. Now I have reached the working length. Okay? So, to prevent the breakage of the instrument or the ledge formation, you need to use the reciprocating motion. And you need to use an instrument with a biconical tip. This is my suggestion. So what are the predictable and practical techniques to bypass the ledge? So I can show you maybe two techniques because I stopped using trial ZX from monitor. So you don't have to know how you bypass the ledge using the trial ZX. So I will simply show you the manual technique and slow rotation technique, and also the T-mode to bypass the ledge. So this is what I use to bypass the ledge. So first of all, enlarge the canal just before the original canal. Locate both the original canal and the ledge. Then enlarge the canal to the original canal in a funnel shape. Don't forget to use the brushing motion against the outer wall. Then get into the original canal using one of the techniques here. So if you want to use the manual technique, you can simply pre-carve the small size instrument, like a number 10 K file or number 15 K file. Small size K file. Then you can go over the irregularities, including the ledge, into the original canal. So I will show you a video. So here is the ledge, as you can see. Because of the ledge, you cannot get over the ledge. I'm using the K file in a straight line. Now I will prevent the tip, the apical 1 to 2 millimeters, like this. This is pre-curve that I created. Then you see the difference. You can get into the original canal beyond the ledge. So simply don't rotate the K file. Just use up and down motion with a tip, with a pre-curve directed to the original canal. Then you can switch to a bigger file. This is 15K file, pre-curved. Do the same. So this is how you bypass the ledge using the manual hand instrument. So the key to success in bypassing the ledge is very simple. To maintain the pre-curve. If the pre-curve is straightened, you cannot get into the original canal. Make sure you maintain the pre-curve that you created. So for example, if you use big size instrument, like a 25, this is number 25, the pre-curve will be straightened. This is the ledge, this is the original canal. You cannot get into the original canal. See? You can't. That's why you need to use small size K file or even rotary file if you can hold it with your fingers. So again, make sure you create a funnel shape using number 3 GG bar. Okay? Then you will locate both the ledge and the original canal. So originally you see the ledge. And if you look at the other side of the ledge, you will find the entrance to the original canal. And if you make funnel shape by brushing the instrument against the outer wall, you can clearly see the entrance to the original canal because of the funnel shape. Or you can use TFRKS to open up the entrance to the original canal. It takes only a few seconds to open up the entrance of the original canal with TFRKS, ultrasonic tape. So pre-carve the tip, put it in the original canal, activate a few seconds with up and down stroke. Then you can make it bigger. Now you can introduce number 10 pre-carve K file into the original canal. Then you will switch to a bigger file. Then eventually you will remove the ledge. This is how you bypass the ledge. And what about the 100 slow down technique, slow rotational technique? Simply, if you slow down to 100 RPM with a pre-carve rotary instrument, you can get into the original canal. So let me show you an example.
Cây 20 nha. Cây 20.
So now it's rotating at 2000 RPM. This is the original canal, and this is the ledge. And I cannot just get into the original canal. I will use then 1000 RPM with a pre-carve instrument, pre-carve rotary instrument. So now it's rotating at 1000 RPM. I cannot just get into the original canal. I'm using an up and down motion. Now I will slow down to 500 RPM. Let's see. I'm still in the ledge. I cannot get into the original canal. Now I want to use 300 RPM. Let's see. It's still too fast.
Trong vòng là bình thường ở nhà mà.
Too fast.
80 nhỉ? Còn 100.
So now I will slow down to 100 RPM. Let's see. Is it slow enough to get into the original canal? Up and down. Now I'm in the original canal. 100 RPM is slow enough to get into the original canal. So you have to slow down. Don't rotate the file faster than 100 RPM. You will not get into the original canal. This is a very simple technique to bypass the ledge. Then let me skip this technique. Then I want to show you the T mode. So with the T mode, because you can select two modes. One should be 90-degree reciprocating motion. The second mode should be whatever you like a reciprocating motion. I usually use 380 degrees clockwise and 50 degrees counterclockwise at 150 RPM when I'm dealing with the curvature more than 30 degrees. Because I don't want to break the instrument, I want to maintain the natural curvature. So if you reciprocate the instrument 90 degrees at 150 RPM, you see the instrument climbing up the wall and into the original canal. You will see this. So keep reciprocating the tip, pre-carve tip, 90 degrees. 90 degrees right, 90 degrees left, within 90-degree rotations. So if you do this you will see it going over the ledge. Let me quickly show you how it happens. So first of all, enlarge the canal. Use the brushing motion against the outer wall. Irrigate canal, always you don't need debris. You have to clean it. And this, by the way, this is the ledge here. This is the ledge. I'm brushing against the outer wall. So you have to open up a little bit more. You need a funnel shape. Because the curvature is 90 degrees. And this is the ledge and this is the original canal. Then irrigate the canal. Then I am using 6002 high flex EDM, multi-anesthetic phase nickel titanium instrument. You can use GG bar only for the straight portion, but if you are shaping around the curve, you need the rotary instrument softer than austenitic phase nickel titanium instrument. So I enlarge the canal to 6002. Look, it's impossible to go around the curve. Then you need to use short up and down motion. Look, I'm using short up and down. You see the stroke. Then you need to pre-curve the tip. This is very important. You need to pre-curve the tip, like this. Remember, this is 90-degree curvature, severe curvature. Then use 90-degree reciprocating motion. You see the tip climbing up the wall into the original canal, like this. Then I'm in the original canal. I'm using 380-degree clockwise and 50 degrees counterclockwise reciprocating motion at 150 RPM. Then I will switch to a bigger instrument and do the same. Then you will remove the ledge. The next one is the same. Look, I'm climbing up the wall into the original canal, like this. This is how you bypass the ledge. Then I'm using bigger instrument, 3004. I do the same, but you need to pre-curve it, like this. You have to pre-curve it. The key to success in bypassing the ledge is to maintain the pre-curve. Now, I was successful in bypassing the ledge. Okay? So this is how you remove the ledge. In addition to that, remember, you have to use short vertical stroke. It's very important. Because if you use the short vertical stroke, you can easily bypass irregularities on the canal wall. This is normal rotations. This is 40 degrees watch winding motion. This is clockwise rotation with a normal control angle head. But if you use the special control angle head with a vertical stroke, you see the stroke. This is half millimeter stroke. You see the up and down motion. You need this to bypass the ledge or to get over the irregularities on the canal walls. This is especially good when you have a double curvature, like this. If you have the ledge beyond the curvature, like this, if you use watch winding motion, 90 degrees. Then, if you use the instrument, Martin-Sittig phase nickel titanium instrument with a biconical tape, and use up and down motion, short up and down stroke, you can get over that into the original canal. With the T mode, 90 degree SGP, 100 RPM, you have to slow down, then get into the original canal. You can do this very, very easily. So let me quickly show you how it happens. So here, as you can see, this is the ledge. You see the ledge around the second curvature. This is the original canal, this is lateral canal. So how do you bypass the ledge? First of all, I will show you normal instrumentation technique. With a normal instrumentation technique, you cannot bypass the ledge around the second curvature. You can clear the first curvature. There is a ledge around here. Because remember, this is a double curvature, an S-shaped root canal. Up and down, up and down. I'm using 2508 TF. I'm using up and down stroke. Now, I'm stuck in the ledge. I cannot go over the ledge. However, if you use same instrument, 2508, with the T mode, you can bypass the ledge. Let me show you. This is the T mode.
50.
The setting is very important. I'm using the same TF, 2508. I'm instrumenting the same plastic tooth. It's too shiny. Can you see it? I don't know why it's too shiny. But anyway, I'm using the T mode, 90 degree watch winding motion. I cleared the first curvature. Now I'm approaching the ledge. I irrigate the canal. Here, this is the ledge. I'm using 90 degree reciprocating motion. Now I'm in the second mode. 38 degrees clockwise, 50 degrees counterclockwise with an up and down motion. Up and down, up and down. Now I'm approaching the ledge. But I keep using a short stroke, vertical short stroke. Now I'm using 90 degree watch winding motion because I'm approaching the ledge. Always remove debris. If you have debris, it's not good. Then what I do is I use reciprocating motion in the presence of EDTA to remove debris. Now you see, I was able to bypass the ledge. Ledge is this way. The original canal is this way because this is an S curve, an S-shaped root canal. Good. I bypass the ledge with this motion. Look, this curve. Okay, so this is how you bypass the ledge. So remember, you have to use short up and down stroke. Very, very important. I will show you some cases, then I will move to the irrigation technique. So here you see double curvature with a big periapical radiolucency. This is the red, this is the original canal, this is the reverse curvature compared to this curvature. So I use the same technique. I bypass the red, I instrumented the second curvature. I knew there was a red creating a perforation, and this is the post-op. You see, this is the red, and this is the original canal. I ovulated the canal with MTA, and this is 36 months post-op showing nice periapical healing around the root. Here. Another case, you see the big periapical radiolucency. This is the red, this is the original canal. With the CBCT, you can see everything. You really need to take CBCT to be accurate in making a treatment plan based on the findings from CBCT. So this is the red. I bypassed the red with the same technique as I told you. Then I instrumented the original canal, and this is the post-op. This is the red, and this is the original canal. And this is the 6 months post-op showing nice. You see a small radiolucency, but it's coming. I will see it healing in a shorter time. But you see significant reduction from the pre-op radiograph and the CBCT images. So now I want to talk about effective root canal irrigation. So what is the main reason to irrigate a root canal? Because if there is no bacteria, there is no periapical pathosis. So unless you push bacteria, or unless you allow bacteria to go into the periapical tissue, there is no disease. So that's why you need to remove bacteria from the root canal wall. You need mechanical instrumentation and you need chemical instrumentation to remove bacteria from the root canal. So you have lots of bacteria. You see there are all bacteria. Bacteria all over the root canal walls. You need to remove them. That's why you need EDTA and sodium hypochlorite. EDTA removes the hard tissue, like a dental debris or any hard tissue. With the sodium hypochlorite, you can remove soft tissues, including pulpal tissues. So how do you use that? First, use sodium hypochlorite followed by EDTA. Then you will get this. You see clean root canal surface. Look at this. No bacteria, no debris inside. Completely clean. However, if you irrigate the canal using sodium hypochlorite followed by EDTA, you get this. After this, if you use sodium hypochlorite, what will happen? What do you think will happen if you use sodium hypochlorite? Then you will see dentinal destructions. So you see lots of, sorry, I lost the, here. You see the dentinal you see the dentinal tubules completely destroyed if you use sodium hypochlorite after EDTA. However, if the infection is deeper, I want to use sodium hypochlorite to remove bacteria deep into the dentinal tubules. I intentionally use sodium hypochlorite after I use EDTA, especially in retreatment. So first, use sodium hypochlorite, EDTA, and use again EDTA, then use sodium hypochlorite. Because if you use sodium hypochlorite, nothing happens. Because sodium hypochlorite will remove soft tissues. Then if you use EDTA, EDTA will remove hard tissues. Hydroxy apatite. Now you have collagen here. Then if you use sodium hypochlorite after EDTA, you will remove collagen. They are all gone. But you can go deeper into the dentinotuberous to remove more bacteria that harbor deep in the root canal, in the dentinotuberous. But you get this. So bonding will be weakened if you use composite after this. That's why it's not a good idea to use bonding after you use sodium chloride. So you have more dentin erosion, but you do have more disinfection if you use sodium hypochlorite after EDTA. So you can take advantage of these activities on purpose, because if you see heavy infection, you want to do this because you expect more bacteria to be deep in the dentinotuberous. What about the concentration of sodium hypochlorite? If you use 6% sodium hypochlorite, how many minutes do you need? If you use sodium hypochlorite 3 minutes, 6%, you will remove 50%, about 50% of the bacteria inside the root canal. Then if you soak sodium hypochlorite in the root canal 10 minutes, you will end up removing 75% of the bacteria in the root canal. However, if you use from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, the difference is very small. There's small difference, only a small difference. If you put sodium hypochlorite in the root canal for 30 minutes, you will remove 80%, from 75 to 80%. Difference is only 5%. So from 0 to 3 minutes, you remove 18% of the bacteria per minute. From 3 to 10 minutes, you will remove 3% of the bacteria per minute. From 10 to 30 minutes, you will remove 0.25% of the bacteria per minute. So that's why there's no difference after 10 minutes. So I will simply soak sodium hypochlorite in the root canal only 10 minutes before I start compacting MTA. And it's better to use high concentration of sodium hypochlorite. 8% of sodium hypochlorite is significantly better than 3% in terms of removing biofilm. Okay? So in retreatment, because biofilm is the key, biofilms must be removed in retreatment because this is responsible for persistent periapical disease. How do you irrigate the root canal? Of course, you will use the syringe with the opening, but it's dangerous if you use the needle with the opening at the tip, because you can express sodium hypochlorite into the periapical tissues, creating hypochlorite accident. Very dangerous. So if you irrigate the canal from here, it's too far from the working length. You cannot reach the working length with the irrigants. So the farther away from the working length, the less debridement you have. So like a river, so you see the river, water coming through the river here, but if you look at the bank of the river, here and here, there is almost no flow. You see the flow only in the middle. But there is no flow, almost no flow along the bank of the river. So look at this video. I took a video in the small river. You see flow very fast, but if you look at the water near the bank of the river, there's no flow. Let me play it again. So here, look, there's no flow. You are not removing anything from the side of the river. You see, but if you look at the main river, in the middle of the river, you see the flow, but there is no flow on the side. So this is what's happening inside the root canal. So even if you irrigate the canal, there is no effect on the root canal wall because there is no flow. So that's why you need mechanical irrigations. Just manual irrigation is not effective to remove anything from the root canal walls. What about the pressure? The apical pressure. What is the apical pressure? Apical pressure is the pressure from the periapical tissues into the root canal. So usually it's about 15 to 120 mm Hg. Oh, what is this? If you activate ultrasonics, I don't know where is this? Oh, here. So this is the pressure from the capillary. I'm sorry. This is pressure from the venous, right? Venous end of the capillary, 15 mm Hg. So if you exceed 15 mm Hg, you will have problem. If you express sodium hypochlorite into the periapical tissue that exceeds 15 mm Hg, you will get sodium hypochlorite into the venous end of the capillary. Then you will have you will have accident with sodium hypochlorite. So you have to be careful about the pressure from the needles, irrigation needles. What about the ultrasonic activations? Does the ultrasonic activation increase the pressure of the irrigation needles? So let's see. So this study shows here, if you activate ultrasonics, you can have only 5% increase, not 5% rate, 5 mmHg increase. So it's not big. But if you express sodium hypochlorite 5 ml per minute, the pressure is about 5 mmHg. But if you express sodium hypochlorite 15 ml per minute, the pressure will be up to 50 mmHg. So you have to slowly irrigate the root canal. You have to slowly inject sodium hypochlorite into the root canal. 5 ml per minute. That will not damage, that will not create sodium hypochlorite accident. So ultrasonics doesn't matter. So in this study, sodium hypochlorite apical extrusion using endovac or endo activator or manual syringe or PIPs, and they were all tested. And conclusion was endovac showed significantly less apical extrusion than the laser PIPs or the manual irrigation syringe. And the apical preparation size did not significantly affect extrusion of irrigants. So end bag is recommended. So this is end bag. If you are using end bag, you are suctioning solution from the irrigation needle here. So space can be reached 2 millimeter epical to the irrigation needle when you are suctioning irrigation. So if you want to remove debris, here you have to be 1 millimeter from the epical foramen or from the working length if you do this to be safe or to prevent the sodium hypochlorite accident. So what is the most efficient technique for irrigating the canal? If you do not want to invest money into the irrigation device, this is a low-cost irrigation technique invented by Pierre Machetot in France. What you have to do is just pick up the Garpacha point, which is slightly smaller than the apical size, and use it in an up and down motion, maybe 100 strokes per minute with a EDTA. Then irrigate the canal with sodium hypochlorite, use the same Garpacha comb, 50 up and down motion for 30 seconds. Then you can irrigate the canal in the apical 1/3. This is the cheapest way to irrigate the apical 1/3. So here, and this is actually my recommendation because I use this technique to irrigate the root canal. So what is this? This is a ultrasonic irrigation system. So if you use ultrasonics, then you can make the root canal 80% free of bacteria, but it's not 100%. What I'm talking about is this one here. This is what I use actually. This is what we call piezo flow. What you have to do is you just express sodium hypochlorite from the needle here, activated with ultrasonics. Then you can suction sodium hypochlorite from the orifice like this. Then you have to use an up and down motion with a piezo flow here. Because if you go down with a needle activated with ultrasonics, the fluid will go into small anatomical spaces. And if you go up in a coronal direction, you will create negative pressure. Then you will get debris from the small anatomical spaces. Then you will remove lots of debris or necrotic pulp tissues, including biofilms from the root canal walls, because this is mechanical irrigation technique. So let me quickly show you what will happen. This is how strong you can create wave of the ultrasonics. You can use high pressure inside the root canal like this. You can create turbulence inside small root canal if you energize ultrasonics, energize sodium hypochlorite with ultrasonics. It's like removing the paintings, graffitis from the walls. This guy is removing the graffitis from the wall with high pressure water. Like this. Because remember, if you do the normal irrigation with a normal syringe, there is no flow on the side of the wall, on the side of the root canal wall. So you need something more powerful. That is ultrasonic or high pressure. So this guy is removing painting from the root canal wall. Painting is very similar to biofilm. So that's why this device is very effective to remove biofilms from the root canal walls. So this is the piezo flow. You are reaching almost 10 millimeters apical to the irrigation needle if you are activating ultrasonics in the presence of sodium hypochlorite. Like this. Look at the purple color. The purple color will disappear with the piezo flow. Look, it's gone now. So you don't have to be here 1 millimeter apical to the needle. You can be 10 millimeter away from the working length. But you can still remove debris from the apical end, close to the working length. So this is very powerful. Here. So there are many studies supporting this. Significantly better irrigant delivery into lateral canals with piezo flow. Significantly better isthmus debridement with piezo flow than manual irrigations. What about the laser? The main techniques I want to show you, but I don't have lots of time because I have to do the live demo after this. And in addition to that, you can simply enlarge the root canal because the larger you enlarge the apical root canal, the more irrigation you get. So there are two choices. One is to use 4004 instrument or 10% taper versus 4% taper. However, if you use an instrument size 20 with a 10% taper, you will lose lots of denting compared to the instrument that is number 40 with a 4% taper. But you will have the same result using these two instruments. So which is more conservative? Which is more minimally invasive? I would say this one. So you, as I said, you should not use an instrument with a greater taper. If you want to be minimally invasive, use the instrument with a smaller taper, because the result will be the same. Or you can simply enlarge the canal to size 60. Then the canal will be 100% bacteria free. So the taper is not key. The apical enlargement is the key to make the root canal completely bacteria free. What about other techniques? What about the laser? Albumin YAG laser, is it good or bad? According to many studies, I want to jump into the conclusion. So this is the result. So if you use laser, it's good, 84.3% compared to ultrasonic irrigation, apart from piezo flow, 50%. But what's better is the XP Endoshaper. According to this study, they tested 4 devices, efficiency of 4 irrigation devices using the XP Endoshaper, and also what did they use? Endo activators and laser. These are used. Syringe, the normal syringe, endo activators, the XP endo finisher, and the laser tips. They concluded the XP endo shaper, the XP endo finisher was more efficient than other 3 techniques in disinfecting the main root canal, because you can mechanically touch the root canal walls. You remember, right? You remember there is no flow on the side of the root canal, even if you irrigate the root canal. there's no flow. No flow means there's no removal from the root canal walls. So that's why if you use the XP and the finisher, you can remove bacteria or biofilms from the root canal walls. That is the reason. So in conclusion, this is my recommendation. This study shows if you use XP and the finisher, you will get almost 90% of reduction. If you use PiezoFlow, you will get 94% biofilm reduction. But why not you use both? So this is my technique. This is my recommendation. Because if you use the XP and the finisher, you have debris remaining, you have biofilm remaining in the chrono 1/3. However, if you look at the apical 1/3, there is no biofilm or debris remaining on the root canal walls. But if you use PiezoFlow, there is no debris biofilms in the chrono 1/3, but you do see biofilm remaining in the apical 1/3. So if you use both, you can remove everything from the top to the end. Right? So this is my recommendation. That's why I'm going to take a 20 minutes break very soon. So this will be my last slide before the break. So here, I stain the root canal. You see the lateral root canal completely stained. If you use, this is the PiezoFlow, look. If you use PiezoFlow, you are getting debris out from the lateral canal, look. Now, staining from the lateral canal are completely gone. But you see staining on the root canal walls because there's no flow on the root canal walls. Remember what I showed you. That's why you need the XP and the finisher removing staining or biofilms from the root canal walls. Then I'm going to use the XP and the finisher, and this is what I get. Look, completely removed. All the stainings were completely removed. I think I forgot to show you one more thing, because some of you may not believe what I told you. There is a good video, but I don't think I have time. So let's take a break. 50 minutes, maybe 20 minutes? Okay, we will take 20-minute break.
Anh Tân ơi, em mượn sạc của anh em sạc nhá.
Kết thúc rồi. Hả?
Mượn sạc của anh em sạc tí nhá.
Rút điện thoại ra anh ra đấy. Tắt cái video đi.